Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. This is 17 and some change. I am EQDES17 here to bring you my 2 cents. It is an absolutely, ooh, I almost used the gorgeous word again. It is once again an absolutely great day outside. Um, it was last week. Looks like springtime has finally arrived. Um, and we could not be happy. Um, I want your guys' opinion. I want you to let me know if the following sentence sounds dirty. Prompting Grok to give you prompts to turn around and prompt Chat GPT with. Okay. Um. Ooh. Ooh. It's 4:20 on the dot. Happy. Yes. 4:20 p.m. on the dot. Um. Oh, if I didn't mention already, I'm glad everybody's alive. So I'm glad you're tuning in and you're alive. So keep doing that, preferably. I was at Walmart the other day and I ran into what you would call a scale, right? Like a body scale. Um, where you stand on it and it tells you like how many pounds you weigh, how many kilos you weigh, and they called it the healthometer, and I thought that was pretty cool, pretty funny. Um, I'm not bitter enough to like um I know some people will like stick their nose up at that or whatever, but like I thought that was kind of funny. It's like oh, I'm 250 health points today and stuff like that. What's your health meter reading? 140. But healthometer. Yeah. Um, good times. Good times. Um Speaking of Walmart, I don't know exactly what it is, but like what age is it that you hit where like Walmart shoes look perfectly fine. They look perfectly serviceable. Um and I don't know, it's just like I think for me it was like 35. I was like 35. These shoes look great. These shoes are like 20, 40 bucks, like way better. Way better. I don't know, it's funny, like I don't know if it's like if it works like that or like if the shoes actually have gotten like a little bit more stylish. There are, and again, I don't know if it's always been like that. I think it has. Like you have, like Shaqs have always produced a basketball sneaker that doesn't look hideous. I think it's psychological and not age. I think it's psychological where it's like the name brand is literally making the product look better. Um, a lot of times. I mean, I feel like um, I feel like that's a big thing. Um, but at the same time, the shoes that Walmart offer now, um, they got a variety of decent looking stuff that like from like and ones and I don't know, fucking New Balance or some shit. But nah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how that works, you know. Um, once I'm not gonna talk shit about any of the other like major companies or whatever, you know, talking about like labor practices and like monopolization and like you know just a lot of the things that um, critics of capitalism hold to be true are exemplified by hold to be true in a negative way are exemplified uh, by some of these like prolific shoe companies and stuff like that. Um, do I get like different brand names and stuff like that? Like, um, yeah, like I'll get like a brand shoe if it's like on sale and like I like it and stuff like that. But like I have my own shoe brand, you know, like I have my own shoes. I rock my own shoes. Um, freaking Timu is lit, bro. Like Timu be providing kicks that are like they're they're different. They're swag. Like they're colorful. Um they're nice. They're artistic. Like they're nice. They're sick. Like um they're really cool looking shoes. You know, and some of them are better than others in quality, but you don't find shoes like that you can't wear, and some of them are like legitimate. Like I got one pair, it held up better than it's been holding up for years, and I play basketball and stuff like that. And I'll show you them real quick, actually. Right? They're dirtyish now because it's been a few years, and like I ride my motorcycle with these and stuff like that, and they're fire. Like they're nice. Like this shit's nice, and like all the shit's nice. The whole shit's nice. It's got like right here is like mesh, like cottony, like it's super cool. They're really they're lit, and yeah, and they're substantial. Like they're substantial as hell, right? Like yeah, you're supposed to have like some bend here, some give here, but like this is solid. Like this whole shit is all day. You know what I mean? I've played a ton of basketball in these, and some of their kicks that are great, and then you got other ones like ones like these, like they're a sick design, right? Wore these on Valentine's Day and shit like that. But like they're really like this material is like I don't know if you could tell if you could see it on the TV, um, screen, computer, phone thing, but it's nothing. Like this material is nothing. It's like I don't even know what you would call it, but it barely exists. It's like foam, like. But you can still, even then, speaking, like, even then, even though this right here is nothing, like, it feels like, the water shoes, like the water shoes or whatever. Um, Even though that's the case, all on this, like, the bottom's still solid. The bottom's still solid. It's glued in correctly. Like, I mean, like it's I don't know if it's glue, but like it's in there solid. You know what I'm saying? It's not. No, I don't even think it's glue. I think it's like built in, but like no, all the connections are in place and stuff like that. So you can Timu's a thing. Timu's a thing and stuff like that. It exists. And a lot of people they're like worried about it, like, oh, what if what I get is caca, or like stuff like that. But like they don't really sell caca. I mean, there was one that really did that did suck. It was called Wish, and they weren't good. In my humble opinion, they they sold caca. Like their stuff would be broken before it even arrived. Like you would you would grab it, you would take it out of the bag, and it would fucking disintegrate in your hand. It was like it's terrible, terrible stuff. But and I don't know about Sheen. I've never ordered from Sheen. I know a lot of people do. Um, but yeah, no, I can speak to Timu. I can speak to Timu. Hopefully, honestly, like, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to manufacture kicks like what we get from Timu in the States. You know what I mean? Like, we should have different manufacturers in the States that are like whipping up some sick kicks, like, uh, whipping up some sick kicks like this. And that would be optimum. That's I mean, my shoes are manufactured in Italy. They're hand they are um they're handmade. They're handmade, genuine vegan leather. And they're sick. They're sick too. They're really sick too. Um but um I was also talking to a Wendy's employee. You know the Baconator is a burger that has so much fat, and the ketchup and the mayo it can make up for the cheese. The Baconator is one of those rare burgers that almost tastes better without any cheese, just because of the fat and the mayo and the ketchup. Um, Kind of fills the role of what the cheese roll fills. The cheese just becomes kind of like an overflux of too many competing yum yums at the same time, you know. Um, I um I was getting gas, and this dude, it was he, he was in the thingy, the not the self. He was in the full serve, and wait, self full, yeah, full. They do it for you. Um, and dude, homie has the pump. The pump's like his truck's like fuel. Dude just drives off in his truck with the thing still attached. And the person. Oh, I didn't finish my Wendy's story. It wasn't just about the burger. Like I wasn't even gonna speak on the burger. Um, but yeah, freaking the the guy that works the station, he said like all the time. I think he said every day like that shit happens. Like somebody drives off with the freaking the hose like still attached. Um, thankfully thankfully nowadays they have the release or I mean I would think it would just even in the old days it would just release, but I don't know. Um, the good thing those things release. You know what I mean? And but about the Wendy's thing, they have, as a lot of you may or may not know, a lot of Wendy's have rolled out um the I don't know how many Wendy's has done this. They've rolled out the AI um order taker. Uh, how many Wendy's have implemented AI at the drive-through? Um, what do you mean approximately 160 to 300 restaurants like and growing? Like that's a big difference. Like um I don't know, you can't be trusting AIs nowadays. You know what I mean? AIs be dumb now. I don't know what happened, but like I still mess with AI, don't get me wrong, but AI be stupid sometimes now. Like AI be fucking up all over the place. LLMs and shit. Um, but yeah, approximately 160 to 300 restaurants, which is like double. So I don't even know how much I believe any of that, but no, a lot of Wendy's they've um AI can still do some things. A lot of Wendy's they've implemented the AI order taker, and and I was asking one of the Wendy's employees um, for their feedback, what they thought about um, having the AI, like if it ever makes any mistakes and stuff like that. Um, she said it doesn't really make mistakes unless there's like a volume issue or something like that. And she also said, and this was pretty cool. I didn't know this. I don't think I imagined it either. I didn't expect it, but it makes sense. She said that they could hear the interactions between the bot and the customer, and they're always like they hear all of it, right? It's in their headsets, like so. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, she said she likes it. It's something it she feels like it frees them up as a staff, um, to help out more and stuff like that. And I'm sure the accuracy helps. You know, um, and they still seemed well staffed. They had employees outside doing like cleaning and stuff like that. So they were getting orders out. They had employees outside cleaning and stuff like that. Um, I think and I hope that that particular building has like refreshed and done an upgrade. I don't necessarily enjoy restaurants that have uh, the same building for like multiple decades. And that could be naive, you know what I mean? But I don't like well, it depends. Um some places that type of shit adds to the appeal. But some places like hole in the wall type places where their food is just bomb as fuck, like it just smacks, but you don't know, like that place looks like it's been there like forever, right? It's like 200 years old. Some fucking hole in the wall, some fucking elf is taking your order, um kind of like a secret fucking passage and shit like that. And it's just bomb ass food. um but yeah, so that's interesting. You know what I mean? um I didn't know how I still don't know how I feel about AI, like incorporating itself into the job market. I think we're there. Like I think this is it. I think I've said it before, but I think this is it. I think we've reached the maximum potential of what AI can become. I think we're starting to see that. I think our bubble stopped inflating. You're not hearing about companies investing cajillions of new money in AI anymore. Um, or I mean, maybe it's just my algorithms, but uh, I think AI is pretty much as good as it can get. You know, I don't I don't know. I mean, that can sound really silly in 10 years, but AI was supposed to be. Uh, it was promised. It was thought to be. It was supposed to be. One of its features was supposedly its ability to grow exponentially. Um, And, maybe we saw that from, LLMs like GPT 3 to 4, but there's no more exponentially. There, you can argue if there's still growth or not, but nobody can say it's still exponential. It's so, you know, do glass ceilings exist in everything? I don't know. Do they exist in some things? Probably. You know, is it possible that AI has hit a glass ceiling? Yeah, I think that's high. I think that's very possible, and we'll see how that goes. You know, and it's funny. You almost don't think of like self checkout as AI anymore because it's been integrated and stuff like that. I see a lot of I still see. I've said this before, and I've been seeing it for multiple years now. Um, doesn't seem to be something that diminished since it started, since inception. The silent protest against self checkout, right? Whether people are come to think of it, I don't think people are protesting the machine. Um, I think people are protesting doing the labor themselves. Um, yeah, I think people would probably people prefer not to pack their groceries themselves. Um, or they're protesting the machines. Either way, you know, Walmart could go in or different places like that. Um, they could go in one of two directions with it. They can placate and say, all right, it looks like, consumer trends are pointing heavily towards manned registers, right? Maybe people they want to see a friend, another human, um, maybe even subconsciously, you know, but they could see that as a trend. They could look at the analytics and decide that the people have spoken and devolve away from the automation, um, and revert back to a system with human cashiers. Um, they could do that, or because it's simply a silent protest, and because they probably could get away with it, they could. So placate was one option. The other option they could squash, and they could say, yeah, well, if we roll out to entirely automated, the consumer will have no choice. Like they're in the store, they're buying the shit. Like if it's like, what choice would they have? And I don't think that's really fair to, like, you know the the people who can't bag. You know what I mean? But they can go either direction with it. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of things aren't fair. We have a freaking I don't know. It's not a city thing because it's in multiple cities. In the surrounding area. But we have this thing, it might be, maybe it's a state thing where we can't use plastic bags. We can't use plastic bags. We have to use, I mean, our stores can't, right? And so therefore our consumers can't. And so we're using paper and it rains outside, or you have items with like perspiration, and it poops its pants, and it just ploop, like your bags rip, and they have no freaking handles, right? Plastic bags, bruh. Like, you can carry like 20 plastic bags. Like, you could carry like a dozen plastic bags. You go like three on each finger. Like, everybody's been there where they're trying to get all their shit in their house, and they're fucking surrounded by like a circle of freaking plastic bags because they're wearing them like fucking rings, you know, and one in the mouth, and no, with a paper bag, you have to you have to hug the shit. You know what I mean? If you get a light one, you could grab it, you can pinch it together and grab it. You could do two of them, couple light ones. Uh, you get one light one, one heavy one. You get the heavy one in the chest. You gotta hug. You gotta hug the heavy ones, right? You can hug the heavy one with one arm. Take the light one by pinching it in the other hand. So you're allowed one heavy, one light. If you have two heavies, you can hug them both. You can hug both your heavy bags. You know, um, kind of more like this. Yeah, you know what I mean. Um, Depending, you could go like that. You could go like that, right? Um, if you have three heavy bags, forget it. You're screwed. You can't do three heavy bags. You can't do two heavy bags and one light bag. You max out at two bags. That's it. And that is absolutely terrible for for sales. For sales at Walmart, they're gonna lose all their people. And then, with all that being said, I mean, what I meant is like people will go to the store and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't fit all this stuff, so I'm not gonna buy all this stuff." And but with with all that being said, um, you know, there is a solution that is offered, and it's called tote bags. You keep it's a one-time purchase. Um, Whatever you need, 4 to 6 of them, and you use them. You know, um, that is kind of a simple solution. And it works, and so yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so the I think that's all the things on this particular list that I was gonna bring up and stuff like that. Um, but I wanted to kind of, mention. Oh, I want to talk about basketball a little bit and kind of talk about me and my relationship with basketball. um, and, and stuff like that. The NBA playoffs are starting. The NBA playoffs are starting. Um, I think if you count the play-in games, they started the other yesterday. Um, and there's been multiple things for me. I haven't watched a basketball this season, a basketball game this season. I don't think I watched one last season or the season before that, or maybe even the season before that. I might not have watched a basketball game since 2020. There's a regular season. Um, there's a lot of things that have, you know, pushed me away from the sport of basketball. Um, there, uh, I think the first, the first thing or the first time that I did veer away or I stopped watching was, Kobe Bryant retired. And so I didn't really watch basketball much after that. I don't think I wasn't really watching much um, after his Achilles thing either. Really, like he tore his Achilles. We didn't get Chris Paul. Kobe Bryant valiantly fights. We would have had. He was playing so well. They were calling him Vino. He was aging like fine wine, and then he pops the Achilles, and then you monitor, and he comes back, and he's not really good anymore. Like like he was like bad. Like he wasn't good at basketball anymore. Like he still had like all the fundamentals and stuff like that, but like he would just miss. Like he didn't have the same lift, and so the timing was a little bit different, and he didn't have years and years to grow into like not having that much like lift and shit like that, and or something, and like he would just miss like all his shots. Like his shooting efficiency was caca after Achilles, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that, which actually makes his 60-point game way more impressive. Which is probably one of the reasons that his 60-point game was like top three Kobe Bryant moments as far as I'm concerned. Um, that 60, they're down, they're down 10 points, like 3 minutes left, three and change, some shit like that. And this dude's been like inefficient. Like he's been scoring, but he's been like kind of inefficient all game, like like typical. But he's been still like putting up numbers and stuff like that. And then just like they start going down, and they start going in, and then and then the look, like I don't know. There was something in that fucking like there was something in that air that day. But during those moments, there was something in the Staples Center that day, and you know, um, you know, Kobe was tapping into that shit. You know, Kobe was locked into a fucking he was in a place where you know um it was tunnel vision for him, and I you could see it. There's one particular point where like you could just see a determination that is beyond psychotic. Um, and he was doing the mouth thing with the fucking with the overbite or the underbite, and and they and and he won that game for them. You know what I mean? And that was super freaking stunning considering the Achilles and considering the fact that he had sucked um going into that game and stuff like that. And so I wasn't really watching much post Achilles. I watched that last game of his, and he retired. So I kind of didn't really like basketball that much after that. Um, and then they did this thing where any team can wear any uniform that they want. Like they did this thing they introduced because Nike took over the uniforms. I'm a huge aesthetics individual. If the product isn't the colors on the screen aren't uh, good enough for me, like if the colors aren't aesthetically pleasing enough, then I'm out. You know what I mean? Like that shit. You know, sports have to look nice. Like you can't be like ugly looking arenas and shit like that. Like, but anyways, like the color contrast is like that's a big deal to my eyes. You know what I mean? Um, so I didn't like when they started putting two darks against each other. Like it I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And teams they had like four jerseys they could pick from. Um, no longer was it home and away, which was another huge problem as far as I'm concerned. We did the the light is home, the white jerseys, the yellow jerseys, the lights are home, and then the dark jerseys, that's away. You know what I mean? And I could turn on any basketball game right away. I know who the home team was, who the away team was. Easy, point blank, done, golden, finished. But no, Nike wants to come in and be like, all right, check this out. We have an icon jersey. We have an association jersey. We have a freaking out of the box jersey, and we have a classic jersey or alternative jersey. And it's like, all right. And then their out of the box jersey was like anybody could just use any freaking color. You had like everybody, like teams would be like neon fucking teal and pink and fucking orange, and like their real color is like red and black and white. And you're like, how is this team fucking Chicago Bulls wearing green? Like, what the flying fuck? And then and then so then you would get like red versus blue, and you would get years and years and years of teams wearing a like their darks at home, and just like getting lost in the fucking key, like just blending into the fucking key because the key, the box, the three in the key is painted the same color as their freaking darks. So they're just blending into the fucking floorboard. And it's just like, man, screw Nike. You know, I wasn't talking shit about Nike before because of their shoes, but because of what they did to the rules and the uniforms, screw them then. You know, and then fucking and then 2020 they all go and they all um they all do the Black Lives Matter thing, and Black lives do matter, but so do all lives. And BLM was not what it purported to be. you know um the NBA got themselves. I could easily just say like they went all political and stuff. They went all Marx. They went all Marxist, um and it was just another straw. I'm like, um but all in all, they I could have, and then Kobe dies, and Kobe dies, you know. I was gonna say I could have maybe gotten over the over politicization. Um, but and then Kobe dies, and then freaking, you know, and they still didn't fix the jerseys and stuff like that. But that's we'll the playoffs should be exciting. I want to be excited about the playoffs. Anthony Edwards could be the next like Michael Jordan thing. Victor Wembanyama is like dope, and then 40 something year old LeBron, you know, but they gotta. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I think we'll leave it there for today. I think that's a solid episode. I was going to talk a little bit about um, my I was gonna talk a little bit about like more positive kind of where my mind was during the early 2000s with the Lakers and stuff like that. Um, I was a Laker fan. Um, but I guess I'll just do one. I'll do one real quick. Um, because I remember it. I was looking for the list. The list isn't even there anymore, which is probably a sign. Um, One of the questions, it was whose side was I on, Shaq or Kobe, in the beef and stuff like that. And I wasn't really too aware, of the magnitude of the beef because the Lakers were still winning and stuff like that, and social media wasn't like what it was today and stuff like that. I was always Team Kobe. I recognize Shaq as a freaking force. My pops was more of a Shaq guy, so he was a little um less than thrilled with Kobe. Um he was more team Shaq, but you know, um, I was more team Kobe. Um, I didn't know, and I still kind of am to this day. Like, I mean, of course, I'm team Kobe. I didn't know how, you know, I didn't know about Shaq's work ethic and stuff like that. I didn't know nothing about work ethics and stuff like that, you know. Um, but I knew Kobe Bryant was nice. I knew Kobe Bryant was nice. You know what I mean? And so that's what that is and stuff like that. I think it's been like really great. I'm glad you guys, if you showed up, if you watched, I'm glad you watched. I'm glad you more glad that you exist and stuff like that. It's good to exist. And don't well, I said I was gonna do Titanic stuff this week. I didn't do no Titanic stuff this week. No Titanic stuff this week, but you know, y'all take care of yourselves and don't do anything I wouldn't do and stuff like that. And then God willing, next week we check in. All right, all right. Bye.